When Mika was hurriedly organizing goods in the cold storage room before leaving work, the manager, who was on the phone, noticed that the door was left open. Without a second thought, he locked the door and clocked out, turning off the power switch as he left. As the manager shut off the electricity, the lights in the cold storage room went out, and it was then that Mika realized she was trapped inside. She turned on the emergency power supply and frantically banged on the door, but the empty store meant no one could hear her cries for help. Mika wanted to call for assistance, but her phone was left at the front desk. In an attempt to attract attention, she grabbed a small cart and forcefully rammed it into the cold storage door. However, the manager had already walked away, unable to hear her pleas. At this point, her hands turned purple from the freezing cold cart. As the temperature in the cold storage continued to drop, Mika pulled out an expired movie ticket from her pocket. And suddenly, an idea struck her. She glanced at her watch, then grabbed a plate from the shelf and ran to the door. As time slowly passed and the movie ended, moviegoers gradually walked past her store. Mika desperately banged the plate against the cold storage door. But amidst the bustling crowd, no one noticed her faint cries for help. Suddenly, a little boy leaned against the store's glass door and heard Mika's pleas. He immediately turned to his father, but his dad didn't believe him and led the boy away. By now, the temperature in the cold storage had dropped to minus 18 degrees Celsius, 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Mika, wearing only a short-sleeved shirt, was shivering in the frigid corner, her nose bleeding from the cold, and her eyes filled with despair. At this moment, Mika took a thin scarf from her bag, tore it into pieces, and used tape to wrap the fabric strips around her hands and feet. However, in such low temperatures, these makeshift coverings provided no relief. Determined to find a solution, Mika turned her attention to the running compressor nearby, and once again, an idea came to her mind.